Hi everybody. So I'm ready to do a little bondo work. I've gone around the door, I did one spot, but there's just a few little bitty dings in here, then where there was some rust stuff down here. I put Duraglass on there. I actually had to do a little welding, so I'm just doing that. I use cardboard. You can get fancy plastic sticks, paint sticks, bondo. And it's pretty cool out here today, so I can throw a little more hardener in than I wanted to, or I normally would. And you just mix it up until it's green. I think it's green. Sometimes I'm halfway colorblind, but I can sure tell a difference in the color on a car, but my wife always argues with me about whether it's green or blue or whatever. So anyway, mix this stuff up till it's thoroughly mixed. Scrape it a few. And then I like to use a larger squeegee. And as I went through here, I kind of marked where some of this stuff was. I mean, you can just barely feel it, but just a skim coat will cover it. And same thing down here. There's just like a little ding, but I'll just skim this whole thing because you'll see it's easier than trying to chase each individual little dent. So you just put a heavier spot. Well, let me take that back. Pull it up on the edge. We've got a nice little lip there. Hard, push it hard out further than the dent, and that gives you that nice little feather edge up to here, and then just a little bit more over where the dent is, and it'll come off pretty easy. Then you'll see the same thing down here. This is straight. This is just one little dent. But rather than doing a dent and a dent, I put a little heavy one there, a heavy one there, a heavy one there. And you can see it almost wants to touch metal on either side and leave it where the dent is. But once I've got that, then I really push hard because I sanded this epoxy with 80 grit to give it a little tooth. And I just want to force it in. I'm kind of leaving this light on this side and just force it down into that epoxy. And then I'll grab a nice little chunk and skim the whole thing. You can pull it at a little bit of an angle. And it ain't gonna hurt anything. Take that. Now this will be much easier to finish out because I put the longboard on it, and it will keep me from chasing edges. And you can also take this and curl it with your fingers and kind of follow that contour a little bit. And the trick is know when to stop. A little rough up here, but that looked good. And then this right here, you can see the Duraglass and really push that bondo in there. And then again, push it in there and just skim the whole thing. And this is a workout. You know, guys that have done this stuff will tell you you come out and sand on a car for a day and it's core tightening and everything. And then this actually curves this way on the Trans Ams. So I'll put just a little bit right in there, and then push hard down into that curve, and you see that skim right across there. And then take that edge off. That I think I'll leave now. You can always come back and do a little more. And then there's a little bit right in here. This spot on Trans Am's always gets just a little bit out of the line. I could sit there and try to, well, I'd almost have to put the door back on and bend the metal, because this tip right here gets worked a little from all the hands and 50 years of being forced in. And I'm just used, I mean, I could tell there was just a little bit there. And what it ends up being is just a little ding. And maybe most of them are like that. But it looks, well, in the black cars I was doing, it looked like crap. Because that black would show you, everything. So there's just a close-up of what that is. And then I've got to get back over here and clean this paddle up. And the way that, one little trick to do with that is, obviously this cardboard's no good anymore, so get rid of that. And then I keep a little bit of thinner, just wash thinner, 5-gallon cans. And if you'll get to this bondo before it hardens, you'll see that the thinner will take it right off. I almost waited too long. So anyway, that's that. Thanks. Be back to you. See, if you hit it while it's soft, still soft, it will sand really easy. And I mean, you saw how quick that comes off. And that right now is pretty smooth. See a little high spot? May just tap that down. But if you get up here, if it'll focus, see, it's still a little wet, or just not totally dry. So what that wants to do then is clog up your sandpaper. So literally 5 more minutes and that'll be ready to go. So again, not going to bore you with sanding stuff, but you get the idea. Another quick tip. Sometimes I get pretty aggressive with this board, fighting with it, because with this 40 grit on there, it grips. So I will put a strip of sandpaper or a strip of tape, and that way when I pinch it in the end here, it doesn't tear off, because nothing sucks more than putting on a $1 piece of paper and having it just rip, and then it's useless except for hand sanding. But just another tip. It's worked for me over the years.